we put the spark plugs back in to keep the muck from going into the pistons. They're only finger tight. The distributor's off now. Carburettor's off. So what we're doing now is we are just taking off the sump, which is here, to clean it. There's about 13 bolts and washers that hold them on. It's just a matter of taking them off and dropping the sump down to give it a good clean. The next thing after that is that bit there, which is the oil filter. So we're just taking the sump off, and I shall get the bolts undone and come back to you in a minute. I'm in the process of just taking off the last bolt to the sump. I'm hoping it's stuck to the engine, because if it's not, I'm going to get a face full. There's the last one. So now we can gently get this off. And that is absolutely bloody... There's the sump. Out of the car. And if you come in here, there's the crank. Dripping with oil. There's a rag. Now I've just seen something on the back of this gearbox. That's a rubber gasket there. On the other side, there's a gaping hole going into the cogs. I'm not 100% sure what should be in there. I think there's a bung missing, because under here is being splashed with oil, like it's had an oil explosion. And I reckon it's all come out of that hole, because there's a massive hole in the side of the gearbox. So I need to find out what the hell goes on there and replace it before we fill the gearbox up with oil again. Otherwise it's all going to end up on the bottom of the car. So that's the sump off. We can clean the sump, and then it's a matter of putting it all back together again. Got the gasket off. The gasket looks like it's asbestos, probably the original one. These are cork gasket ends, they just push out of there. And look at this, this is the sump. Look at the sponge in here, look, it's like frog spawn, it's horrible. I'm not saying frog spawn's horrible, but it's got the consistency of frog spawn, but it's just gungy mess. These cork gaskets, when you replace them, you cut them, you leave them a tiny bit higher, so when it goes on it squashes down. I'll show you that when we replace the sump. So there's all the muck. And that's the sump, there's the drain plug there. So that's sat in there for about 44 years.